Okay, Shalom. Giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. I want to give double honors to the oldest apostles and bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect, to the sincere brothers and sisters that are in the faith of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. My name is Lamadia from the New York camp, and I just want to land back off this brother, Elder Manata Zagba from GMS South Carolina camp. And I was watching his video. Check it out. It's edifying. And the name of his video is "You Made Your Choice. We're Moving On." So that's the name of his video. And the channel is GMS South Carolina 808 Salakia. And the name of my video will be entitled "There's a Difference Between Making Time and Finding Time." So let's talk about it. Now, when people find time for the things that they really don't want to do. Sort of something like when I get to it attitude. Whereas making time is prioritizing something and having to sometimes take things out your schedule to make things happen. That's making time. So again, you have finding time, you have making time. And with this truth, the mind frame you want to have is making time. And again, making time is prioritizing the work. Now, a lot of guys, if a woman call you at 10 p.m. and you know you got to be at work at 7 a.m. and wake up at 5 or 5:30 a.m., but she call you at 10 a.m., a lot of guys, he's gonna go out his way and pull up on her and try to get some Virginia. That's an example of a guy making time. In most cases, that man is not gonna say, "Well, um, I get back to you in a week or two." He's gonna make time to pull up and try to get some Virginia, and that's the same attitude you're supposed to have towards this truth. It shouldn't be something where where you have in the back of your priority list, like, well, you know, when I come across to it, when I get to that, that's the wrong attitude to have. And another thing I want to say is, for anybody that's in GMS, if you feel that the standard is too high, you could say goodbye. I'm gonna say it again. If you feel the standard is too high, say goodbye. Like, you could just leave. You could just go. Don't come around us with that energy. That energy of doubt. That energy of, I really don't want to be here, but I'm here. Hopefully nobody, notice me. Or I'm just gonna be here and do the bare minimum. Don't bring that energy around us. Don't bring that spirit around us. Because guess what? We could pick it up. And you got guys that think with that attitude, they think they're going undetected. And if you don't get it right, The Spirit gonna pull you out of here. That's it. And as we're approaching 2026, that's only a week away. And 2026, there's gonna be a lot that's gonna be happening. That's why in my last video it was called "Sowing Doubt," because we in the time we're approaching. Look, a lot more things gonna be taken away. And you best to believe in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah is going to protect you and is going to deliver you out of those circumstances. Because look, listen, that's the problem. You got a lot of these fucking guys. They think they keep trying to control the will, so to speak, right? Rather than the Lord controlling the will, because He is controlling the will. But you trying to intervene in that. Look, your mind frame should be making the Lord your priority. That's it. If it comes to where, look, you lose your job, it is what it is. And now we never said not to try to seek other opportunities where you get a higher paying job. You know, we never said not to do these things. We just tell you prioritize doing the work. That's the main thing. And then the things that's being said, well, if a brother ain't got it, we not gonna help him. Yes, we are. We've been doing it. All right, we got there's plenty of testimonies of that. I was watching the brother Amwan Gabar video, and one of the things he brung out, which is true, Elder Pastor Hall, at one time, a lot of brothers wasn't working because a lot of brothers came in very young. Myself, I came in at 19 years old. And I'm 36 now, but at 19 years old, I didn't have much work experience. Most work experience I had was doing summer jobs for the summer youth program. Elder Pastor Hall made it an order that brother get their driving license. So that could open up other opportunities. And then Elder Pastor Hall used to always say, look, exploit these app-based jobs. Brother's been saying, try to look for other jobs that pay more. But the thing should never become where, oh, I can't do this because I gotta work, or work comes first. No, you should still be able to do it. And if it's something that's hindering you, you pray to the Lord that you know whatever it is hindering you, that it get removed. So now let's go to Google search engine, and as you see, I typed in finding time versus making time. And the AI overview reads, finding time is passively discovering small gaps in your schedule for minor tasks like waiting at a doctor office, while making time is an active intentional choice to prioritize, pay attention to that word, prioritize. Hold up. So I'm gonna read that again. Making time is an active, intentional choice to prioritize something important by carving it out, saying no to less important things. So, in other words, you may have things that's in your schedule that could wait. You could hold off on it, and you put the things that's more important in the front. And that's the attitude you're supposed to have for this truth. You prioritize it because it comes down to faith. You gotta believe if you prioritize the Lord's gonna prioritize you. You know, that's where faith come in. Let me read a little more, and it says, "And dedicating focus, effort, showing true priority for goals, relationships, or well-being. It's the difference between having a moment and creating space for what truly matters." Now, let's go to First Corinthians 7:29. "But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they have none." So, who's speaking? This is the Apostle Paul speaking to the church of Corinth, and he was told to the church of Corinth, but applies even to today. And one of the things too, look, when you prioritize the Lord, you may not even be around your wife as much or your kids as much. To the point you may feel like you single. To the point you may feel like you don't even have kids. That's what prioritizing looks like. Now we're not saying to neglect these things. You neglect your family, neglect work. That's not being said. We're saying prioritize. Um, Verse 30. "And they that weep as though they weep not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not." So whatever you have, if you have a, let's say you got a nice car, guess what? You know, look, that car ain't coming to the kingdom. That car gonna be destroyed here. And everything's gonna happen fast. And this is what we want into the people. Like these things are gonna happen quick. And this is the time to get your mind right to the Lord. Verse 31. "And they that use the world and not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away." And again, the word abuse means to misuse something. You know, like you could have certain things, but you gotta have it. You have to look at it in a proper perspective. You may have a high paying job, but guess what? That's just a job. That's just there for you to, you know, maintain yourself. That's it. Don't be focused on long term goals and shit like that. Like your focus should be on this place falling, collapsing, because that's gonna happen if you really believe in the scriptures. So let's go to bear with me. Okay. First Timothy beginning at uh chapter 6 and 7. "For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can't carry nothing out. And the possessions we have now is gonna be destroyed here. We're not taking the stuff we have, with us to the kingdom. You know, here the chariots coming. You grabbing your sneaker collection, your jewelry. Yeah, that all that stuff gonna be destroyed here. It's gonna be burnt. Verse 8. and having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. And the Lord gave us enough to get by. Like there's always gonna be some type of struggle where you may not have enough at times, but that's for us to remain humble. Okay. Matter of fact, that brings me to Proverbs 30:8. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. So it says, give me neither poverty or riches. Because if you're in poverty, you have nothing. You constantly trying to figure out how you gonna get your next meal. How you gonna produce resources? You spend the whole day doing that. It's a distraction. Same thing with riches. Riches is a distraction because it brings temptations. That's why we set in the middle. The Lord put us right in the middle, just to have enough, so our mind toward the Lord will be pure. Verse 9: Lest I be full and deny thee, and say, Who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal and take thy name, and take the name of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, in vain. Now let's go to Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High. Matter of fact, let's do this. Priority definition. Okay, priority will take you back to the word prior, existing or coming before in time. So order or in importance, meaning something that's set first. Former, from the Latin prior meaning former or before. So something that's set first. So that's something that's priority, something that's set first. So now I'm gonna read Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High. So, in other words, what are you doing? It's you're prioritizing the kingdom of the Most High. The kingdom of the Most High begin with the knowledge of the Lord. Excuse me. But see, but seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and His righteousness, and all these things should be added on to you. And all these things that can be added on to you is necessities. You know, if you do right by the Lord gonna do right by you. Give me 1 second. Verse 34. Take therefore no thought for the morrow should take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient for the day is evil thereof. So look, things gonna get bad. It's gonna get a lot worse and more. And I'm telling you now, necessities is going to be placed upon us. And that's when we pray to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, and the Lord is going to protect us. Let me see something real quick. Let me type in Proverbs 3. Let's see what comes up. Proverbs 3 and 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him. The him is referencing to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, and he shall direct thy paths. So our path is going to be directed by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. And as long as we doing that which is right, our path's going to be blessed. Whereas if you don't do that which is right by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, don't expect it to be blessed. Give me 1 second. All right, so let's go to Luke 14. Okay, this is Luke 14 and 16. Then said he unto him, a certain man made a great supper, and bade many, and sent his servant at supper time to say to them that were bidden, Come, for all things are now ready. And they all with one consent began to make excuses. The first said unto him, I have bought a piece of ground, and I must needs to go and see it. I pray, I pray thee, have me excused. And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to prove them. I pray thee, have me excused. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. So the servant came and showed his lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to this servant, and these ones that have had all these excuses, these are the God that to the guys today that can't they got a reason why they can't do the work, why they can't be as productive. They have excuses. So it says, then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, Go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor and the maimed and the halt and the blind. And the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. And the Lord said unto the servant, Go out into the highway and hedges, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. And that's what's happening right now. That's what we doing when we go out in the streets to teach, in the highway, in the hedges. Hold up. Okay. Verse 24. For I say unto you that none of those men which were bidden should taste of my supper. So, this is a fearful thing. And again, a lot of guys, they don't really know what they're involved with. They think this is something, You know, call yourself an Israelite. You throw a garment. You read a couple of scriptures, but they don't really understand what they truly involved with. And there's a lot of game playing. And if they don't repent, the Lord, is going to destroy you. The Lord, this ain't the time there's never a time to play with the Lord, but especially at this time. This is the time you should walk in fear. Now let's go to Philippians. Um, you know what? I forget what I had there, but I'll close it with James 4:8. Draw nigh to the Most High Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, and He will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and He shall lift you up. So this the mind, state of mind you want to be in right now. It's to humble yourself to the Lord. Pray that the Lord put the spirit that you can do more. So that way you be found worthy. When the time come, because we approaching heavy times, and we're already in Jacob's trouble, but Jacob's trouble is going to escalate. And the only thing is going to deliver you is the faith you have in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. So I'm going to close with that. And I'm going to say, Kohalayim Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakak Wadash Shalom.